Hello, this is Natalie Callback, and I'm here with Kae Pea, and I'm so thrilled to have her on Creative Jumpstart this year. Kae Pea is the owner of Rubber Moon, and it's the stamp company that makes my dream stems, and I love working with Kae Pea, but besides being the owner of a rubber stamp company, she's also an amazing artist, and she makes like really, really, really cool and nifty things. So, without further ado, hello, KP.
Hi.
And why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your art? And you can do that way better than I can do it.
Oh my gosh. I'm not sure about that. Okay. A little bit about myself. You told me to think about these things, and I did, and now I'm here, and I don't know what to say about myself. Well, I have been creating art really since I can remember, but I like to say I was a self-taught artist until I was 41 when I decided to go back to school and have someone else teach me. And I still feel pretty self-taught, although my experience in college was wonderful. My kids, my youngest two were just starting school, kindergarten and first grade, and I decided to go back and get my degree in graphic design. And so that was in 2007. And halfway through the program, halfway through the graphic design program, I decided that I really didn't want to do graphic design, that I wanted to paint. And so my husband was very encouraging of that and said, well, you didn't go back to school at 41 to make yourself unhappy, so do what makes you happy. And I switched my major to painting, and I never looked back. I loved the whole experience, and it was a really wonderful thing that I think I did for myself. Excuse me. I graduated in 2011 and didn't know what I was going to do after that, and made a serendipitous phone call to an old friend that owned a rubber stamp company to see if she would produce a few rubber stamps for me. And I ended up buying the company in that phone conversation. So, so in 2012, I took over Rubber Moon, and which was actually located in Lake Hayden, Idaho. I drove with my sister to Idaho, picked up the rubber stamp business, and brought it back to Missouri, and it's been 5 years now. So,
what an amazing story!
It was a great story. I don't really think it was very much about my art, but it was a good segue, right?
Yeah, no. But like, speaking of your art, so what? So you said painting. What was like your medium, or is it still the same medium that you like to use, your paint medium? And what do you paint? Tell us a little bit about it.
Okay, well, watercolor mostly was what I worked with in school, and it really is my first love in painting. I absolutely love working with watercolor, although I find that I'm just really drawn to all sorts of mixed media. I love acrylic painting and all kinds of inks, and just really experimentation is what I love to do more than anything. So I will find myself working with watercolors a little bit for a while and then switch. And, I guess maybe I have a short attention span. And I think I love the process, But watercolor, again, is my first love. But I find a lot of times that it takes a little bit more concentration for me and quiet time, which running a business and having a family, I don't really get a lot of just devoted time. So I don't know. I think that's why I'm sort of all over the place. It's sort of like my life, But I love whimsical, colorful art. I'm not afraid of colors, as you can see. So I enjoy just a big variety of all sorts of art. I love creating abstracts, and I also love illustration, and I also love digital art. So kind of all over the board, really.
Oh yeah, but that's really cool. I find that so interesting, and I also love your work because it is whimsical, but it's not kitschy. You know what I mean? Like, not that whimsical means kitschy. Oh my God, what did I just say?
No,
but like, you know what I mean? Like,
I do.
it's like, and you can tell that you have a very good sense for design, which of course when you also studied it. So, like your logo, like everything is like, it's tied together and it's beautiful and it makes it's fun
thank
to
you
look
for
at
saying that. I really do appreciate it, because I think for the longest time, I really was actually hard on myself, like really hard on myself for not, like, I don't really know how to explain it, but I felt like I didn't really have a certain look that, like, everything went together all the time, or maybe I should always only do watercolor, or I should only, and I would be really upset with myself, like, why can't you just focus, But I guess it just takes sometimes years to realize, what your strengths are, and what you love. And so I just continue to follow that, what I love to do, and it seems to work out. And I'm also never bored.
Yeah.
No,
that's totally, I get that totally. I'm very easily bored with things, and I think that like, I have never been like super artistic in my childhood. I mean, I love to do things, right? But I was like, I had a lot of unfinished projects laying around always in my life, like knitting a sweater. Oh, it's a vest because I'm done. I don't want to do the arms, there's like lots of weird stuff going on. So I think with this whole like area,
this was supposed to be a sweater. No, I'm kidding.
But like, so mixed media has really brought me this joy of trying all kinds of different things out. And then, of course, I also come back to, my love is apparently acrylic paint. So I come back to it over and over again. But I'm not bored because I try all kinds of other things with it too. So
we definitely, have that in common. And it's really, it's reassuring because, I have so many, I'm sure I have way more unfinished projects than I do finished. And that's just, the way it is. It has to be okay because, and some of them I go back to and some I don't. And
I think it's normal though. I think it's okay. You know what I mean? Like, no, I mean, like, sometimes you're like, oh my God. Haha, just realized I wasn't on camera, so here I am. That's fine. We really love to see Kae Pea. I
just thought it was because it was so early in the morning.
I have no idea how this is turning out, but it's going to be a surprise, just like mixed media. You add something into the mixture. So here I am. Where were we?
Oh my God, you're asking me? No. I was just taking a drink of coffee.
We were talking about, yes, that's a good idea. That will help. We were talking about that it is okay to have unfinished projects. Before I realized that I wasn't even like in the picture, literally not in the picture. So, and it was funny because like for a year there was this giant canvas in the background, and people would be sometimes asking, did it like progress? And it would make me mad because I just like was stunned, and it was also blocking my easel. And now I took it down. I finally have space again on my easel, and I actually hang it across from my bed. It's kind of like a torture, so that every morning I get reminded that it's not on the easel, but you should finish it at some point.
Oh my gosh. So I have a story to tell you. Can I tell you the story?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll try to make it short. No guarantees. Maybe you might have to edit.
No worries.
Okay. So in about 2005, before I went back to school, I decided that I wanted to paint. Like, I just had an urge. Like, I was going to paint a big painting, and I had this beautiful masterpiece all in my head. And so my husband was in school at the time. So I said, do you have art supplies at your school bookstore? And we were broke. I couldn't afford anything. So he's like, yeah, and I said, well, can you go to the school bookstore and get me the biggest canvas they have? I had no idea, right? I had no concept. And I had like a little box of acrylic paints, like a starter set. So he brings me home a canvas that is like barely would fit in the car. It was like 40, I don't even know. I'm looking at it right now. It was like 60 by 40 or something. It was really big, right? And I was like, oh, well, God. And he said, you said the biggest canvas. Oh my gosh. Well, we lived in a really tiny house too, so I didn't have anywhere to paint. I mean, I had 2 little babies. So I hang this giant canvas up on the wall and I start painting it, and it is not coming out like the beautiful masterpiece in my head at all. And I was realizing, wow, this is hard. In my mind, it was super easy. And so I'm painting and painting, and I get like maybe half of it even covered with paint, right? So, and I was discouraged. I didn't know what I was doing, and it wasn't turning out. It was horrible. So I leave it there for a year. Like, it was there for probably at least 2 years. And we moved, but people were always asking, are you ever going to, mostly like my family and friends would say, are you going to finish your painting? And I was like, oh yeah, one day. So anyway, we moved, the painting goes with me. We still hang it on the wall. It's like hanging right in the middle of the living room. And people are still asking me, are you ever going to finish your painting? And I'm like, oh, maybe one day. And then, so I'm in school, in art school, right? And I would work on it a little bit here and there. Still never any progress. Well, we ended up moving again, and I was like, this canvas has to go. I'm never going to finish it. It's stupid anyway, So I'm going to pitch it. And my sister, she lived next door to me. She's like, you can't throw it away. And I was like, what am I going to do with it? We were really sizing down. And so she's like, I'll take it. So she takes my half-finished painting and hangs it in her living room. So like 2 more years later go by, and she's going to move. And she's like, do you want your painting back? I can't bear to throw it away. And I was like, I guess. I'm almost finished with art school, right? I'm about to graduate. And so she gives me back the painting, and I finished it in 2 days. I have it. I'll take a picture and you can share it at the end. And it is a great reminder to not only follow, your dreams, but to stick with them even when it seems like it's not going anywhere.
Yeah, and I think that's such a great story, because basically I think if it was a smaller canvas, I would just paint over it and then, go through it. But this one is kind of like there's something, and I like some parts of it, but I don't feel it, and I don't know where it should go from there. And I think I'm not ready to just cover up hours and hours of work, because it's a big canvas like yours. Mm-hmm. I wanted to know if you could go on any artful adventure.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know.
Ready.
No obstacles, no time, no obstacle, money, nothing obstacle, no obstacles. Where would you go? What would you do?
Well, it would be somewhere warm. It would be somewhere with mountains and beach. Can I have both?
Sure. No obstacles.
And probably no social media for a while. And I would just like to, somewhere warm and somewhere with time, like where time was just also not an issue. Definitely my watercolors and my favorite brushes. That's all I would really need.
What kind of substrate would you bring, or would you look for substrates at the place you're at?
Maybe a little both, but definitely just paper. Mm-hmm. Some nice big watercolor paper.
So time is like your biggest artful adventure wish, and like a space where you are on your own.
I'd love to have. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Not on your own, maybe with your family.
Maybe my family. Not all alone necessarily, but definitely it's just a time issue, and social media. I think I would love to just be disconnected for a little while. Not for vacation, and I would love to see what could arise from that, because I feel a lot of times like, things are just going at such a fast pace, and I am always really busy with busy work, and don't get me wrong, I'm very appreciative and grateful for however whatever and however creative endeavors that I, get to do. But I think just to have some pure time, quiet, away from a lot of the everyday noise would just be amazing. And definitely somewhere warm. I have to have warm. I'm not a cold winter person.
Me neither. It's funny because I'm thinking about this a lot, and I guess, we all have that problem. Not problem, it's a good problem to have, but I was thinking about it, how something that I love to do, and I still love it, art or making something, right? That was a hobby at some point, and then I turned it into my full-time job. But then I actually, because I have to make a living and I love my job, but it's never, most of the times when I create something, it has to has a purpose in one way or the other, because that's just otherwise I wouldn't be able to, make that part of my living. And so it's almost as if I need time again to have a hobby, which is art making.
Right.
Because a lot of people are saying like, oh my God, you have the best job, which I have. Right. I love it. There's no way I would ever,
understand exactly like every word you're saying.
Right.
Yes, I 100% agree with.
It's like so weird because you're kind of like, oh, shouldn't I have a different hobby? Because, that's
besides
your job.
Sleeping
right, exactly. Sleeping and eating. But it's like, it's almost like you need to say like, okay, when I paint now, this is the time that I would dedicate to my hobby. And it has no there's no purpose behind it. It's not for a project. It's not for, showing your maybe stamps, or it's not for a blog post or anything.
Right. Anything except for to paint what you feel or what and I think it's really therapeutic, just to go through the process, even if it's nothing worthy, or maybe that is one reason why I love to experiment so much with just paper, or paint to, or brush to paper, or brush to canvas, or whatever. It might be sketching or working with a marker. Whatever. But I find that just the act of seeing what it does, is really fun for me. But again, you come back to it. Usually has a purpose. Too. But
But I like it when you once in a while you have this time again. Time is the issue, and you're like, I'm just gonna do something, and then later you're like, oh, that would be great as a workshop or whatever. But it's not that you sit down with that, intention. You feel better. You feel better when you can do that, and sometimes I'm like, I started to put like creative time into my calendar. I'm not very good in following it, because everything I do takes way longer than I think it will.
Are we twins? Because
I think we are.
I'm accused of that. So, like Maxie, my daughter, is always like, "Mom, like that is not going to take you 10 minutes. That's like take you like 2 days." I'm like, "Oh no, there." She's like, "No, Mom."
I know, I'm so bad because I'm really good in like structuring my week. Like I'm like, oh, okay, I should do accounting, and that will take me an hour. Of course, it takes like 3 hours, and it's like, and then you put like, I do it on my Google Calendar, so I push everything like constantly around. So at some point, it would be funny to actually see like a fast forward video of how I change things up.
It would also be funny just to see your lineup and then see what it actually.
Oh, that's actually a good point.
What you say it will take and what it actually takes.
Oh, it would be so embarrassing.
How many, how many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Roll? Remember that?
Yes.
I don't know.
No. Okay, so since we just talked about Rubber Moon, one question that I thought would be interesting was, how do you find inspiration and the ideas for your own stamp designs? Because you do you do some really funky, some are like super whimsical, and then also super funny. There are some really funny ones. And then also you have those, which I really love too. They're called stamstractions. They're like more abstract. And if you don't know those stamps, you guys have to check them out and then also see what she does with them. It's like, kaboof. I love it. So how do you, if you're like, like we all have different ways on gathering inspiration or finding inspiration. So how you find inspiration to make your own stamp designs?
I mean, honestly, I've loved stamps for so many years. I mean, I started stamping in 1990, I think. Maxie was around 2 and she was born in 88. So, yeah. So in 1990 or 91, I started stamping and I've just always loved them. And so a lot of it, began by like what I would like to see or have. But I think now, it's just, again, that experimental thing inside me where my brain's always really going. And of course I like whimsical stuff. So doodles, I'll do lots and lots of doodles and then just, that would make a great stamp. And then for like the Stampstruck line, it was just really a matter of, I wanted something I could create small abstract paintings using stamps. And so I came out with my first line of them. And once I actually got them in my hands and started playing with them more, it was even beyond what I had imagined things that you could do and create with them. And then so one just fed, my first inspiration inspired many more, of course.
So, KP, I know you do so many things. So the real question here is, going with the theme of Creative Jumpstart, do you cook? And if you cook, what kind of a cook are you?
Okay. So I do cook very begrudgingly. I tell my family quite often, this is a grudge meal made with lots of resentment and
you can taste my tears.
No, but I hated cooking for the longest time. I mean, I did it, and I actually am a pretty good cook. I think actually more than hating cooking, I hated grocery shopping. Like grocery shopping's the worst chore. And when you're younger, before you have a family, nobody really tells you like, once you get married and have kids, like you are fully responsible for feeding people pretty much forever. And like when they're hungry, you must stop everything and feed them because that's something, you just don't really sign up for that at least I didn't, but it happened. And so yes, I cook similarly to how I make art, I think. Sort of like to experiment. I recently, about 9 months ago, started eating vegan. So like I cut out all meat and all dairy, any animal products really at all. And I found it was really life-changing on so many levels. But I enjoy cooking a lot more. It's a lot easier to shop. And it's been really fun for me to find ways to do things like make cheese without dairy, or to make different sauces that you would never in a million years think, that you would put some things together and it would, you put like 5 ingredients like soaked cashews and lemon juice and garlic powder and a little water, and it makes like a cheese sauce. You're like, wow, how did that happen? Like, this is going to taste nothing like cheese, but it does. So it's been really enjoyable. And, excuse me, I find that I don't hate grocery shopping as much either, because I think a lot of my issue with grocery shopping was buying meat. I didn't like it, and I didn't like cooking it or, touching it. So that's, excuse me, been a wonderful change for me. So anyway,
That's funny. I love grocery shopping.
You do?
I do
Well,
love grocery shopping.
but you know what? But you also live in a place where you have a lot of things accessible to you. I live in a place where it is like it's half an hour just to minimum. That's not even to a decent grocery store. It's like 45 minutes to an hour and 15 minutes for me to even get to grocery stores that offer, a decent selection. And
well, the difference is we don't have a car, so we probably spend the same amount of time, in grocery shopping because we just have to do it almost every day.
Oh.
Because, it's like, and then once a month we have a car and then we do a little bit of the bigger items, or we get also some things delivered because it's just not, not possible otherwise. For me to schlep things or, poor husband as well, so, but we pretty much, I think at least once a day, maybe, I can barely think of a day where we don't have to hit, and if it's not a bigger supermarket around here, then it's like we have like little, grocery stores, where you go and you just like, oh, I forgot we need that too, and you run out and you get like, some lemons or ginger or whatever. So,
but so like yours is kind of like an adventure.
Yeah, it's also, I think it's because, and then it also, it's like a social thing too, because you're like, you're like, know people on the street and the people in the stores, and you go to the bakery and you have a short exchange, and it's like, but I always loved grocery shopping. I don't know. Fun. I love like when you walk through the aisle or like farmer's market. It doesn't matter. It's like the colors of all the different fruits and veggies and stuff. It's funny.
Well, like going to a farmer's market stuff I love.
Oh, yeah.
Actually like trekking to the, but I mean, I do have a feeling the experience where you are and what you have access to.
Yeah.
And you're, like I said, it's more of an experience or an adventure. It, for me, is just a chore, a time-sucking chore that I really have not liked. But it's a little bit better now.
The last question, KP, that was so much fun to talk with you. Is there anything you would like to add? Upcoming classes or projects or products or stamps or anything that is yours that you would like to tell us about?
No, because like when I do videos and when I was like for Creative Jumpstart, I don't even mention stamps or that I even have a stamp company. I find this a great way to promote.
Okay, so I will do it for KP. So KP, as I said, she's delightful, as you can tell, and I think you will see why I love working with her too. But besides that, she has this amazing rubber stamp company who is also a sponsor for Creative Jumpstart. Yay! So there will be giveaways. And an extra bonus video that KP made.
Right, because I don't like to mention the stamps or anything in videos.
But besides that, KP has two big things right now that she's too shy to tell us, so I will do it. One is that she has a thing that's called... see, she's trying to distract us.
I'm so sorry.
One is... Tell me what your big video thing is that you're doing where people can sign up. What is it called? What it is? Tell it in 2 sentences. Come on. You can do it.
Thank you. Okay, so we have a group, a Facebook group called Let's Get Makey. And it's the Let's Get Makey group is free to join. And I do like little demos and just spontaneous little things when the urge strikes me to share something. And then I started recently Let's Get Makey Premium, which is a monthly fee, and it's sort of like ongoing class. I mean, I don't want to necessarily call them classes because they're not super long. I try not to keep them over like 40 minutes at the most, but they're scheduled live broadcasts, so you can join in live or you can watch them later. And for the premium Let's Get Makey, there's a guaranteed number per month, and then there will also be spontaneous things thrown in. And then there's other benefits of being in the group too. Like there's you get a permanent discount at Rubber Moon and sneak peeks and just digital downloads and just some other fun
Yeah,
stuff.
very cool. So you can check that out on KP's or the Rubber Moon website. And the other
Let's get
thing,
makey.
yes, is
And then my other thing, I'm so excited I have them here. So
okay, tell us real quick about it.
okay, these are called Moonlight Duo Tint and Hue ink pads,
So
and
cool.
they are a little bit different than any other ink pad that I've ever seen. They have two. If I can get, they're different because you can't open them.
No, they are very securely.
They're very so this is called. This one's Milky Way Magenta.
Nice.
And although I know you probably can't really see the color, but so you have your hue on one side and then your tinting pad on the other, which is white. It's a very opaque white. And then you use them to like blend and mix right on your stamp or on your paper. So I'm doing
So
a lot of
basically,
demos.
yeah, so you can do your tints of your colors, and you have a wide variety of colors, and I ordered all of them, and I can't wait to get them. And I saw what KP was doing with those in one of her Make It Artsy Facebook Live events, where she told us that they're coming out, and I was like, OMG, I have to get those. And it's really cool. And you can mix the colors on that white stamp pad, and then, or the half of it, and you can clean it, right? You can clean the white if you need to, but you don't really need to because it's always the same color that goes on there. And
Right.
the other thing, it is once it's stamped and dried, it's waterproof, right?
Yes.
Which is amazeballs because
Yes.
it's mixed
Yes.
media
So you
friendly.
can definitely watercolor with them or, use acrylic paints and stuff like that. So I'm really excited for everybody because it was only for pre-order for like a month. And I can't wait till everybody gets them in their hands so I can see what other people are doing with them. I'm really, really, really excited. So thanks
big news, guys. And yeah, we are super happy to have KP this year joining Creative Jumpstart, and I can't wait till you see her video. It's super fun. And thank you so much, KP.
Thank you for having me.
And
it's been fun. We have to do it in person one day.
Yes, we do.
Okay. See you later.